Social disadvantage is a huge problem in working class communities across this state. Access to basic services such as housing, education and employment opportunities, coupled with a cost of living crisis, has placed tens of thousands of families in a desperate situation of poverty, homelessness and unemployment. SICAP, to me, is a crucial state resource that was set up to help disadvantaged communities to access services, education and employment opportunities. During my time as a councillor, I've worked very closely with the SICAP team. I regularly refer families to SICAP who help them to access homeless services and supports, social housing and private rental accommodation, provide food hampers to help with food poverty, access maintenance services for pensioners and people with a disability, counselling services for addiction and mental health, and crucially too, employment and training supports. Hundreds of my constituents have benefited from the SICAP services. It is an integral part of the community support system in Meath.
As I walk along the ramparts here in Navan, I can't help but think about the stories I've heard from those who have called this area home, often out of sheer necessity. The ramparts is a beautiful spot. It's also a place where some of our most vulnerable community members seek shelter. So we recorded a piece for this SICAP case study with one of the service users of a local drop-in service here in Navan town. And he tells the story of how he had to make this place his home for a number of months. You'll get to hear from him directly and how he talks about how he had to wash in the river until SICAP was able to provide that local community group with a grant so that they could put in a shower facility for the Joshua Drop-In Centre for the homeless and needy. As I said, you'll get to hear his story directly. We also get to hear from one of the voluntary support workers in the local drop-in service for the homeless and needy. She shares with us how important the SICAP grant scheme was to them and the collaborations we were able to do with local charities across the county. As I walked around the ramparts here today, it is clear that these are just more than just cases. They're people with stories, needs and hopes for a better future. Our goal with the SICAP team in Meath is to build an inclusive community where everyone has an opportunity to thrive. We are committed to combating poverty and social exclusion through daily interventions. But the work SICAP does would not be possible without the collaborative approach that we take with our local stakeholders. We are incredibly fortunate to work so closely with Meath County Council's resettlement team, the HSC, local representatives, local community groups, charities, Loud Meath Education and Training Board, and An Garda Síochána.
We've had a lot. We started just on a Monday. We've opened now on a Friday because there were so many people coming in. So a lot of people coming to use the shower and that, you know. Yeah, usually they come in, have a shower, sit down, have a chat, have something to eat and get some clothes or any toiletries that they might need, or, you know, we can kind of put them in contact with people. The lads were delighted going off in their new boots in the winter, you know, and it was the food. It was great to be able to give people something to take home with them, you know, because sometimes we run short. But over the Christmas, it was brilliant, great help, it really was.
Food, clothes and shower, right, and people to talk to them. Maybe I'm not a good scholar, all right, I never have a form to feel like I wanted to, you know, to follow and you know, to help me.
Yeah, just everything, shower, basic needs, food, warm clothes.
For your food, for your clothes and for a chat and a laugh, that can change a person's day. That can save my life or any person's life. Just 15 minutes of a talk with a person can save your life.
That is more than the weight of gold in itself, especially in the winter time. Especially, it's so hard to keep clean, and it's so hard. If you don't keep up that persona of clean, people on the outside will treat you very different than if you're well presented, you know what I mean? So there's that 2 days a week, plus the fact it warms you up. Do you know what I mean? In the middle of winter, you're coming in here, because if you're out in the open, you're out in the open in the winter, do you know what I mean? But for just the cleanliness of it and making you feel good, and just the basic thing, a shower. But if this shower wasn't here in Navan, there's nowhere else. You're literally showering in the river. That's it. You have nowhere else unless you have a friend or something that you can knock on the door. But there's no other service around here. You know what I mean?
The shower is so important to some of the lads when they come in, if they're sleeping in a tent, or if they're when they come out, they have in the clean clothes, socks, underpants, and they come out like a new person. So
it's when you come from like having a shower morning and evening time, and then not being able to have it. That's an awful thing to be taken away from you. Do you know what I mean? Just in general.
Food is very important part of your homeless person out there. You need to have a coffee in the morning, a bit of food, and you have that, you're gonna probably say, where am I going to get my next meal? Right, and it's gonna be hard. Now, for a homeless person in the street, a female or a male, right, you need at least 3 sets of clothes a week. In case it's a rainy night, getting into your tent, and that's very important.